Good morning, everyone. Welcome to your practice today. I just wanted to show you something. I'm just going to turn the camera around. I'm not sure wherever you are, but look at the rainfall today. Look at that nature outside. Look at all the green trees. This is where I get to practice today. Isn't that beautiful? The sound of the rain, so tranquil. I don't know about you, but I love rainfalls. I love thunderstorms. I know for some of us, it can be a little bit, and give us a little bit of anxiety, and I hope that that's not happening for you today. So I do apologize if this is not something that you're taking in today, but hopefully it is, and hopefully maybe you can just listen to it for a moment, knowing that you're in the safety of your own home, and that we're just going to practice together and just have this in the background. You know, just listen to it and understand nature and understand the life that this water, this rain is bringing to the trees right now, getting them ready for the change of season, getting us ready, right? We're in a change. The season has changed within us as well. So we're going to continue on with our chair practice today. We started a little bit last week, so we're going to put a sequence together today as well so that you can practice some sequences at home. And then also we're going to think about next week. Next week we're going to be working on sun salutations. So we may do a little bit of a sun salutation in the chair today. And then also next week we'll carry on with the sun salutations and then finish off September with sun salutations as well. So feel free to join me in the next couple of weeks as well. But we're going to layer on today with our chair sequence. So I'm just going to take the camera around and I'm going to get myself ready to practice with you. Place my camera right here, and hopefully you can hear that in the background. So let's find our chair. Let's find our blocks. If you need blocks, for me, I'm a little bit vertically challenged, so I do need the blocks so that my feet are not dangling. We don't want to add any stress to the body that we don't necessarily need, right? And we're also thinking about being in the chair, using some exercises, especially if we work in a chair in an office environment or we're working from home at our desks. A lot of the times we're thinking about how we can release some of that stress that we're holding into our hips. Right now we have a muscle really deep inside the body that connects the top of the body to the bottom of the body called the psoas muscle. And it is also known as the emotion muscle as well. So most often when we're sitting in this position, that muscle is really tight and short, and it's ready to lengthen and expand. So anytime that we can bring that kind of feeling to the psoas muscle, we're also helping the nervous system to settle down as well. So that's what it's all about, right? Yoga is about de-stressing the body and bringing a sense of calm, a sense of balance into our practice. So I'll invite you to get comfortable in your chair and maybe close your eyes if you're okay doing so, or just a soft gaze down towards your lap. And maybe place one hand on your belly and one hand around your heart center. And just let those shoulders slowly just soften away from your ears. And just notice your breath. There's no right or wrong. Just notice. Notice where your breath is falling today. There'll be days when the breath doesn't reach your belly, and that's okay. There'll be days when we feel that the breath is just all in our shoulders. And that's a good little indicator of where we're holding a lot of our stress, that we're not allowing that breath to pass the shoulders. So we're holding a lot of tension there. And when we hold tension in our shoulders, into our neck, into the cervical spine, most often that gets mirrored into our sacral spine. So those two areas kind of mirror one another. So we're going to try and help that out today by releasing through the psoas muscle at the same time. So again, just keep breathing. Bring the breath in through the nose. Encourage it towards your hand that's around your belly. Feel your ribcage expand. And that small rise around your heart center. And then release that breath also through your nose or your mouth. Soften your chest, close your lips, and feel emptiness within your belly. But most importantly, breathe. Breathe and get to know how you're feeling today. Let your body speak to you. Let it tell you how it's truly feeling so that you can really encourage it and you can start to use some variations to allow your body the journey it truly needs to be on today. So just continue that breath. Maybe you're feeling extremely tight across the shoulders and adding a nice contracting release. Muscles sometimes need that permission. So sometimes just an act of shrugging those shoulders up towards your ears and then letting them go and let your body feel the difference. Let your mind feel the difference as you contract and release. And we're going to place our hands in front of us, almost like we're holding onto a small little ball. And taking that breath in and just letting the hands expand up and down. And exhale, bring the hands towards each other. Inhale to open up. So replicating what's happening inside as we breathe too. As we inhale, everything opens up with space. And as we exhale, everything closes down. Inhale to open. And exhale to release. Maybe switch the hands over. Inhale to open. Exhale to close. And just continue that breath. And just see if you can visualize your breath traveling towards your belly. See if you can maybe slow your breath down to the movement of your hands. How do we feel about taking our hands out to the side? Visualizing our rib cage opening and closing. And to keep our shoulders soft, and just notice my shoulders were starting to rise then. So that was a nice little indicator for me to just slow everything down a little bit. My body was telling me it was rushing a little bit and it needed to slow down. Maybe how do we feel about taking our breath on a diagonal? Moving our breath from hip to shoulder, from side to side. And just letting our breath travel in all of those areas, up and down, side to side, from one diagonal to the other. And just connecting all of those areas within the body with our breath. Let's do a couple more times. You can change your hands to whichever direction you wish to go. And let's bring our hands back to the belly and the heart center. And then close our eyes just one more time. And just notice any changes. Maybe you've started to encourage that breath a little bit closer towards your belly. Maybe it's still lingering around the ribcage, and that's okay too. The most important thing is to just continue to encourage your breath. And understand that your breath is home. Always bringing yourself back home. We're going to take our hands down by our side and just let our fingers search for our mat. So really press your fingertips down towards the earth. Maybe spread your fingers too. Add as much space as you can so that your body can move into that space. Feel that nice expansion across your chest, the space that you're creating across your chest, and letting those shoulders maybe drop down and come together a little bit so that we're stretching through the chest and building strength through our shoulders. So another thing that happens when we're sitting in our chair a lot, whether it's due to our work environment or whether it's due to limitations that we may have, that we have to be in our chair quite often, is we tend to roll in a little bit too. So that rolling in strengthens the chest, it shortens this muscle and really opens up the back and creates a little bit of weakness in the back. So practicing our posture, sitting nice and tall, letting the hips sit over the shoulders, sit over the hips, I should say. Opening the chest, so stretching the chest, we're building strength into the shoulders to bring that posture back, to bring some sense of calm into the shoulders. So when we're rolled in like this, we're holding a lot of stress into our shoulders and our body is holding onto that tightness as well. So hopefully we're allowing the body to open up a little bit here too, reaching the fingers to the ground, sitting nice and tall against the back of our chair, and feeling as relaxed as we can in our legs and in our hips. Beautiful. All right, we're going to come into a seated cat-cow. I'm going to turn to the side for a moment so that you can see what's happening. We're sitting nice and tall, getting our shoulders over the pelvis as much as we can, but not stressing ourselves to get there, remember? Placing our hands on our thighs. And as we exhale, we're going to pull the belly back towards the spine, round out the spine, something that we just said we don't want to do, into our seated cat stretch. And as we exhale, we're going to lift the crown of the head up towards the sky, open up the heart center and arch the back. And then exhale, roll everything in, round out your spine, tuck your belly in, tuck your chin down, cat stretch, and inhale to cow pose. So we're going to continue that, moving through your cat and your cow. And we're feeling the space as we breathe, opening up everything, looking up to the sky nice and proud, and exhaling, shortening everything to allow it to expand even more. So just move within this cat-cow here. Go at your own pace. Feel your breath as you move. Feel your spine. You're articulating through your spine here, from your tailbone to the base of the skull. And noticing as you move any tension that you may be holding in your jaw. Relaxing your tongue, relaxing your jaw, and letting that softness transfer into your shoulders that will then transfer down the spine towards the sacral spine. Beautiful. Let's come back to that nice seated position. Sit a little bit towards the end of your chair, but still have the support of your chair. I'm just going to move my blocks a little bit. All right, so I'm using the blocks to bring the floor a little bit closer to me. Sitting nice and tall, we're going to go into a nice chest expansion here. So take a nice breath and inhale and open the arms up. Spread the fingers. Feel that nice line from fingertip to fingertip. Drop those shoulders down. And then turn the palms to the back of the room and take your hands behind and find your chair. And maybe start at the very bottom of your chair, so around where the seat is, so that we're not adding too much stress around the shoulders, but so that we can really feel nice and strong and stretched out through the chest. That we can allow the throat chakra some space, where we can speak our truth, where we can allow the crown chakra to reach, and find that moment of serenity and bliss. Hopefully you can still hear the rain. It's falling quite heavy. It's a really beautiful sound. One of my favorite words, actually, while we're here in this seated chest expansion, is for people who love the smell of rain. Apparently they're called pluviophiles. So that must be me. I love the smell of rain. I'm a pluviophile. All right, let's bring our hands to Anjali Mudra, that's prayer pose. We're going to lace the fingers, cross the fingers over, and push the palms out. See if you can keep your shoulders nice and soft. Sometimes when we push the palms, we have a tendency to just want to round out the back and lift the shoulders. So we're keeping our posture nice and strong, shoulders down, palms pressing out. And then exhale, take the arms all the way back into that chest extension. Now we're going to go into lateral extension. So
take the hands down by your side. Take the right arm and reach it up towards the sky. So you may notice that your shoulders, if your shoulders are a little sensitive today, feel free to bring your arm halfway. Take any stress away from your body that your body is not willing to go to today. You don't want to add any more tension and worry to the body that it already has, right? We're trying to take some of that away. Maybe all of it away, hopefully, in morning practice. But if that full extension is there, reach the hand up towards the sky, the opposite hand down towards the ground. And feeling that lateral extension on the right side. Lots of space between the hips and the rib cage. And maybe add a little side bend here, if you feel comfortable doing so. Continue to reach that left hand down towards the sky. Feel even more open through the side body. And inhale, come back to center. Take the opposite arm up towards the sky. And again, if you're unsure, try the arm halfway first. See how the shoulder receives that change. And maybe it's telling you, yes, I prefer it here. I'm going to stay right here. And that's what your shoulder is liking at the moment. And you can go ahead and extend it and feel that variation. And if the shoulder is quite happy with that change, then continue with whatever variation works for your body today. And then maybe add the little side bend. We're also feeling that support from our core, supporting our lower back. Again, soft through the jaw. Relax any tension that you're feeling in the jawline around the tongue. Most often that tongue is pressed really firmly to the roof of your mouth. Let's come back to center. And just being conscious of releasing your tongue can have such a huge impact on the stress around your jaw that then transfers down into the cervical spine across the shoulders. All right, so now we're going to come to one of our lunges. We're going to come to the side, sitting to the side of our chair. I'm going to bring one block underneath my foot here, and then I'm going to scoot my other foot all the way out behind me. So I'm taking that foot directly behind my hip. I've got a nice 90-degree angle with my knee here. So if I didn't have the block and I tried to reach the floor, maybe hopefully you can see that change where I'm stressing a little bit to keep my foot and this front knee stable. So it's adding a lot more stress into my hips. So I'm bringing that block here to bring the floor to me, sliding that opposite leg behind my hip and really feeling that length down through the front of the hip and allowing that psoas muscle that we just talked about some time to take a break and take a release. Everything is facing forward here in this nice crescent lunge position. We can bring our hands to Anjali Mudra. And if you're feeling a little sensitive in your lower back today, feel free to just hinge forward slightly, press that heel away, and just take some of that stress away from your lower back. So here in this beautiful lunge position, if you're looking to add a little bit more here, you can always extend your arms too. Or remember, we can do halfway. Whatever feels good. You can play around with the arms. Inhale to Anjali Mudra. Exhale halfway. And inhale to fully extend. Inhale Anjali Mudra. Exhale, bring the arms halfway. Strengthen those shoulders, stretch the chest. And exhale to reach. Adding that variation for the shoulders here. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, Anjali Mudra. Exhale, halfway. Inhale, reach. Beautiful. Release our hands down to Anjali Mudra. Release our hands down to our thigh. And release that back leg. And we're going to come on to the other side. So let's take our block to this side. Place our foot on the block or the floor. And then press that opposite heel away from you. So we're sitting close towards the edge of our chairs. We want some space that we can move that back leg directly underneath that, directly behind the hip. Hopefully you have a nice stable chair. If you have a chair that has a little bit of movement on wheels or something, please make sure it's against the wall or something like that so that it's not shifting as we move through our practice today. So back leg nice and strong, pressing that heel away. Again, make those adjustments. Your body will feel different on one side and the other. Both both sides of the body very different, and we have to accommodate that in our practice. Shoulders nice and relaxed, chest proud, crown of the head reaching, and tailbone dropping down. Bring your hands to Anjali Mudra here. And again, feel free to hinge forward slightly if you wish to add extra space for the lower back if it's feeling some tension today. Also, feel free to bend the knee if you wish to, and just come to a nice kneeling lunge. Whatever feels best for your body. There's no right or wrong, just make those adjustments. Remember, it's not yoga perfect, it's yoga practice. So we have to just continue to practice being kind to our body and allow our body to guide us to where it truly needs to be. All right, here we are in this lunge position, whether it's kneeling or extended. Inhale to bring the arms halfway, and take the arms up above. Inhale, Anjali Mudra. Exhale, halfway. Inhale, reach. Knowing that we can stay with just the arms halfway and just come to prayer pose and halfway with our arms. Your choice. You make the decisions based on how your body is feeling today. Whatever arm options we're using, we're going to do that 2 more times. Hands to Anjali Mudra, and release the back knee and come back to center. We're going to come into our seated forward fold. I love forward fold, and especially in the chair is where we get the maximum amount of space. When we're in a standing forward fold, what happens most often is we try to make it about the legs and not about the spine. Forward fold is about opening up space within your spine. So the more we can bend our knees to increase that space, the better postural alignment we'll get to at the same time. So coming into a chair always brings you into that maximum space position, right? Because we're not activating the legs. We are truly making it all about the spine. So I'll invite you to hinge from the hips. Just start to bring your rib cage down towards your thighs. And then let your hands just slowly travel down your legs. And then just let your head and your shoulders relax. So here in this seated forward fold, most often it's our head that takes the most time I should say, to relax. It's been holding itself so strong all of this time, right? So we need to release that cervical spine and let the head just hang. Maybe even shake the head no. Always ending on a positive, nodding the head yes. Just letting the arms hang. If you feel like this is a little bit too much, you can always just rest your arms on your thighs and let your head hang from here. No need to go as deep if your body's telling you that's not where it needs to be today. Very nice, and slowly release up. So we're going to come into chair pose. Even though we're using a chair, we're going to still come into our chair pose. We're going to turn our chairs to the side, and this is where we can actually really feel our chair pose, where we're searching for that imaginary chair behind us, whereas today we actually have the chair. So coming into mountain pose, our feet are hip distance apart. That's just a little bit more than fist distance for your feet. There's a soft bend in the knees. Palms are facing forward, which will automatically rotate your shoulders back and down. So that will give some nice feeling of space for the shoulders and across the chest. And then bring our hands to Anjali Mudra. And then slowly sit those hips back and try and find your chair. And you don't have to sit all the way down to your chair. It may be a little bit too much for you today. But if we are finding our chair, just hovering, trying our best not to sit down, really activate the legs. Let the crown of the head reach, let the tailbone continue to search for your chair, and looking down, making sure that we can see our toes, so that our knees are not hiding our feet and adding stress into our knees and into the ankles. Let's take a nice inhale and reach the arms up. And exhale, come back to that chair pose. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale. And exhale. 1 more time. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Let's hover here for a moment, knowing that the chair's there if you need to sit down. Beautiful. And then let's sit ourselves all the way down onto our chair. We're going to come into a sun salutation sequence with our chair. All right, so let's stand up. Let's find our chair. We're coming into our downward facing dog. So placing our hands on our chair, we're going to walk our feet back a little bit. And then bring the head down towards the biceps into our downward facing dog. Feel free to bend the knees. And just let that head hang between the biceps. Here we are in our downward facing dog. Take a nice inhale and transfer your weight, bringing your shoulders over your wrists and maybe coming up on towards the balls of your feet. So this is your plank position. As you exhale, bend the elbows, come down slightly. This is your Chaturanga Dandasana, your crocodile. And as you inhale, bend the legs. Start to walk in, find the tops of your chair, and lift your heart center into your cobra pose. And exhale, bring the hands down to the chair, walk ourselves back, and find your downward facing dog. Do that 1 more time. Inhale, through to plank, shoulders over the wrists. Exhale, bend the elbows, come down a little bit into your crocodile. Inhale, walk ourselves towards the chair. Place our hands on the back of our chair. Lift the heart, cobra pose. And exhale, walk ourselves back to downward facing dog. I'm going to add a little lunge here. Let's lift our right leg off the ground. This is like our 3-legged dog. And then step it nice and wide to the outside of our chair. And maybe bring the back knee down. So here we are in a nice kneeling lunge position. Hands have the support of our chair. Crown of the head reaching, tailbone dropping down towards our mat. Heart center open, and our breath flowing. So let's think about that visual at the beginning of our practice when we were sat in the chair, visualizing our breath going up and down, side to side, on a diagonal. And just imagine that breath traveling to all of those areas right now. They may not fully reach that area, but that's okay. We have that visual in our mind of where our breath is traveling. Okay, we're going to tuck that back toe and extend the knee off the mat and step back into our downward facing dog. Let's come to that lunge on the other side. Coming forward, step the opposite leg wide. Bring the knee down. And stay in this nice high kneeling lunge with the support and assistance of our chair. Check in on those high stress points, the jaw, the shoulders. Feel the support of your core. Feel your breath traveling around, bringing all of that goodness and that nourishment into each and every cell. And as you breathe, bring in that positivity too. Think about your favorite person, place, or thing. Whatever it is that brings you joy, bring that in with your breath. You know, it takes the same amount of time to think negative thoughts as it does positive thoughts. But the difference in the change in your body is remarkable, right? Bringing in that positivity, that change, that energy of goodness has a bigger impact on your body than the negative thoughts, even though they both take the same amount of time and energy. Let's place more time and energy on the positivity and the kindness and the self-compassion. Tucking the back toe, extend the knee off the mat. And again, to your downward facing dog. One last vinyasa. We call this a vinyasa. Inhale through to plank. Shoulders over the wrists. Exhale, coming down slightly into our crocodile. Start to walk the feet in and come up to your cobra pose. And exhale, walk back to your downward facing dog. Beautiful. Coming into our balance pose, stepping the right foot forward and transferring the weight, bringing our hands to our chair, lifting that back leg off the mat, coming into balancing half moon. So we're going to bring the right forearm down onto the chair and use it as support, and then we're going to really lift that left hip and stack it on top of the right. Opening up through the belly, the ribs, and the chest so that the shoulders are nicely stacked on top of one another. Resting this left hand down on your thigh, or feel free to reach it up towards the sky in this assisted balancing half moon. Looking down towards your chair, being grateful for the support of the chair today. Very nice. Let's release that other hand down. Bring the hips so that they face down towards the mat. And press your foot down into the ground. And maybe just release into an assisted forward fold. Bending those knees, resting your head onto your forearms, on the chair. And just allowing that space to happen here. Moving into balancing half moon on the other side, coming back up. Step back with the opposite leg. Transfer the weight forward. Lifting that leg off the mat. Bringing that forearm down, so the left forearm is down now. The right hip is lifting and stacking itself on top of the left hip. And the right arm is reaching up towards the sky or resting down on our thigh. And that nice long leg that is lifted, the foot is flexed, adding some stability to the knee, adding energy through the leg. Feeling open through the belly, the ribs, and the chest. And looking down towards the chair. And again, that moment of gratitude for the assistance of your chair today. And release the hand down. Bring your hips back to neutral. Step the foot down. And let's walk ourselves back to that downward facing dog position. Beautiful. Let's walk ourselves towards our chair. And we're going to come into some twisting chairs. Turning our seat facing forward. Adjusting our blocks once again. All right. How are we feeling so far? Hopefully we're feeling really good. Yes? So we're going to sit towards the edge of our chair once again. Feet on our blocks or on the floor. Just make some little adjustments here. Sitting as tall as we can, getting comfortable with our shoulders sitting over our pelvis. Hands reaching towards the sky, just to allow that space to happen across the shoulders. Sometimes if we're holding on to our chair, we can let those shoulders come up a little bit. So let the arms hang to allow that softness to transfer into the shoulders. And we're going to come into a nice gentle twist first of all. So taking the right hand, take it behind your chair and just hold on to the back of your chair. Left hand is crossing over your thigh and reaching towards the outside of that right knee. And then just gently rotate through your belly, into your ribs, into your chest. And if you're comfortable doing so, looking over that shoulder into this nice seated twisted chair. And really feel your breath here. Inhale to create as much space as you can. And exhale and move into that space. And find a different variation of this twist. Twists in your practice help bring an enhancement to the body. The body's very efficient detoxification. That's what the body is naturally meant to do. But sometimes it can get a little bit sluggish, so adding twists to your practice can enhance that detoxification process. It's also always nice to bring in a couple of twists into your practice just to help the body move a little bit more internally. Take a nice inhale and come back to center. Take the opposite hand to the back of your chair, cross the arm over, and gently rotate belly, ribs, and chest into your twist on this side. Nice and gentle, we're not forcing anything. We don't want to force something where the knees really have to twist and your hips have to come off the chair. We're really just moving from the thoracic spine into the shoulders and the chest. Very nice. And coming back to center. Beautiful. Let's release into our seated forward fold. Just let everything relax. Become that ragdoll where you just drape yourself over your thighs. And maybe bring that internal dialogue of, I am allowing my body to rest. I'm grateful for the support of my body today. And I encourage my body to just yield into this moment, yield into this space of serenity and calm. And let's bring the hands up to the thigh. And sit all the way back. Find a nice, comfortable position, sitting nice and tall, bringing your hands to Anjali Mudra, or resting them down on our thighs, your choice. And I'll invite you to close your eyes. Maybe your head drops down slightly. Maybe we're placing one hand on our belly, one hand on our heart center. And we're just noticing our breath. Noticing any areas where the breath is still hesitating or gets stuck. And what can we do right now? What adjustments, what movements can we make to allow that breath to travel a little bit freer and easier to that area? But most importantly, breathe. Breathe, feel, and listen to your body. Let go of those expectations, that competition, that judgment. Just allow yourself to be. And notice your thoughts. Any of those thoughts that start to creep in that are causing you that tension, that stress, that worry. And maybe bring that visual of your hands, or use your hands to move and place focus on that instead of your thoughts. Just breathe with your hands. Move them any which way you like. My body's responding to my hands moving from side to side, opening and closing, focusing on my ribcage. And that feels like that's where my breath needs to be today. Where does your breath need to be today? Let's bring our hands to Anjali Mudra. And then place our hands down on our lap. Eyes are still closed. Palms facing up. Fingers nice and wide. Let's bring the first finger to the thumb. And feel the connection of the thumb and the first finger. And then release. Bring the second finger to the thumb. And feel the connection here. third finger to the thumb. Notice the connection here. And lastly, the baby finger to the thumb. And release. And then let's open the arms out. Eyes still closed. Spread those fingers. Feel that expansion across the chest. Feel the openness around your heart center. Sending you love, joy, serenity, and calm. Give yourself a great big hug and tuck those feelings deep inside and keep them with you. Should you need them, you'll know where to find them. Know that what was meant for you today did not pass you by. And what passed you by was not meant for you. Just release the hands, bring the hands to heart center, bow our heads and smile. Inhale, take the arms up. Bring the hands back down to heart center. From my heart to yours. Thanks for joining me today, everybody. Namaste. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me today. Hopefully everything, you could hear everything okay. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm always here, and I'm happy for those that do reach out to me, that private message me or have reached out through emails. I'm always happy to answer any questions. Have a wonderful Sunday. Next week, we are actually working on sun salutations. So for the next 2 Sundays, that's what we'll be doing. And I wish you a wonderful day. Enjoy the rain. Maybe go out and splash in the puddles. Be childlike. Enjoy your day, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.